Good morning, and welcome to your AIDailyPress morning podcasts for May 2, 2026. I'm your host, Walter. Firstly, the ongoing dispute between the executive and legislative branches over U.S. foreign policy is coming to a head, with lawmakers calling for increased transparency and regular briefings on the conflict in the Middle East. The Trump administration's naval blockade on Iran has already cost the country approximately $1.8 billion in lost oil revenue, and experts warn of significant challenges and risks associated with maintaining this blockade. In other news, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Louisiana has issued a nationwide order blocking the distribution of the abortion pill mifepristone by telehealth providers and pharmacies via mail. This decision has sparked intense debate on reproductive rights and access to abortion services, with both sides weighing in on the issue. The case is now headed to the Supreme Court, where the justices will rule on this critical issue. Finally, we're continuing to monitor the situation in the Middle East, where the U.S. naval blockade on Iran is having far-reaching implications for global energy markets and international relations. The restriction of maritime traffic could harm other countries dependent on energy imports from the region and exacerbate tensions in the Persian Gulf. These are just a few of the stories we're following today. We'll continue to provide updates and analysis as more information becomes available. And that's the way it is. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and then shall and know what's right now. Firstly, we're marking International Workers' Day, with protests and marches taking place around the world. Many countries are facing economic challenges, including rising unemployment and stagnating wages. We've seen a determination and resilience from people demanding change and a better deal for workers. In other news, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a significant increase in tariffs on vehicles imported from the European Union. This move is expected to have far-reaching consequences for the global automotive industry and could potentially spark a new wave of trade tensions between the U.S. and its European allies. Lastly, we're following a disturbing story from Jerusalem, where a French nun was attacked in a shocking incident that sparked widespread outrage. The attack has been condemned by Israeli authorities, and we urge all parties involved to work towards promoting tolerance, understanding, and respect for all faiths in the region. These stories highlight the complexities and challenges of our global landscape. We'll be exploring these topics in more depth throughout the day, so now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. First, in the world of tech, Apple's latest earnings report has beaten estimates with a whopping $111 billion in revenue, driven by strong performances from the iPhone and services segments. However, the company is not immune to industry-wide challenges such as the RAM shortage. In other news, the tech world is also watching the developments in precious metals, where analysts are cautiously optimistic about the prospects of a company amidst global economic uncertainty, citing potential increased demand, but also noting significant risks including operating and technical difficulties. Lastly, on the international front, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Aung San Suu Kyi has been moved from an undisclosed detention location to house arrest in Myanmar, 5 years after her detention by the military junta. The international community is calling for her immediate and unconditional release, citing concerns over her health and well-being, as the situation in Myanmar remains complex and in need of careful navigation towards democracy and human rights. These stories and more will be covered throughout the day on the AIDailyPress. Stay informed, stay balanced, and we'll keep you updated as the situations unfold. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket program is facing significant challenges, with the company struggling to meet its launch schedule and facing increasing competition from other private space companies. Secondly, Virgin Galactic, a pioneer in suborbital space tourism, is grappling with financial struggles and technical hurdles as it attempts to get its newest spaceship flying safely and efficiently. The company's stock valuation has plummeted, raising concerns about the future of the suborbital space tourism industry. Lastly, NASA has made a groundbreaking achievement in electric propulsion technology, successfully testing a next-generation lithium-fed magnetoplasma-dynamic thruster that could potentially revolutionize deep space missions, including crewed missions to Mars. This innovative technology promises to significantly reduce launch mass and increase payload capacity, bringing us one step closer to realizing our dreams of exploring the cosmos. These stories highlight the challenges and opportunities in space exploration, from private companies pushing the boundaries of innovation to government agencies like NASA driving progress in cutting-edge technologies. Stay curious and keep looking up at the stars. We'll be keeping a close eye on these developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. First off, we've got the New York Mets struggling to find their footing after a rocky start to the season. Their recent loss to the Atlanta Braves has left them questioning their strategy and looking for ways to improve their performance. In other news, the world of professional football is abuzz with the latest trades and draft picks. The San Francisco 49ers' decision to trade linebacker Dee Winters to the Dallas Cowboys has sent shockwaves through the NFL, with many wondering what this means for both teams. Meanwhile, the rise of streaming services is changing the way we consume sports. Platforms like Fubo, DirectD, and Peacock are providing comprehensive coverage of major sporting events, catering to niche audiences and offering a seamless viewing experience. And finally, we're taking a closer look at the New York Yankees' chances of making it to the playoffs this season. With their strong lineup and solid pitching, they're definitely a team to watch. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. In today's summary, we're looking back at 3 thought-provoking stories that have been making headlines. First, we reflected on a tragic event in a small community where the power of human connection and resilience is being tested. We considered the complexities of human relationships and the importance of empathy in times of crisis. Next, we celebrated the wisdom of age with music legend Amy Grant, who shared her insights on the freedom to be oneself without apology. Her words reminded us to slow down, appreciate the little things, and cherish the moments that bring depth and meaning to our lives. Finally, we explored the fascinating trend of thousands of people applying for Canadian citizenship, driven by a range of motivations from a desire for community and inclusivity to practical considerations like access to better health care. We took a journey to the charming town of Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, where we met individuals who were seeking a new home and a fresh start. These stories remind us of the importance of human connection, self-acceptance, and the beauty of everyday life. As we go about our day, let's take a moment to appreciate the wisdom of small towns, the power of community, and the allure of the unknown. I'm Charles, and I'll see you next time. Now, for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's dive right in. First up, we're talking fashion with a capital F. I recently sat down with the one and only Patricia Field, costume designer extraordinaire behind Sex and the City and Emily in Paris. We chatted about her latest project, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. From haute couture to high street, Patricia spilled all the tea on what's hot and what's not this season. Next, we're heading to India, where microdramas are taking the entertainment world by storm. These bite-sized shows are like mini-movies, with complex characters, engaging plots, and cliffhangers that'll keep you hooked. We explored the phenomenon, from its origins in China to its current popularity in India, and what it means for the future of entertainment. And finally, we're tackling a very serious topic: the conviction of James Holder, co-founder of Superdry, on rape charges. This is a wake-up call for the fashion industry, folks. We need to prioritize accountability and support for survivors of sexual violence. It's time to create a culture where consent is paramount, and we'll be discussing what this means for all of us. Tune in later for more in-depth coverage of these stories, and don't forget to now for the latest in nature and environment. Here is David Attenacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, We visited the stunning flower displays at a recent event, where engaging storytelling and beautiful arrangements delighted both flower enthusiasts and casual visitors alike. Next, we delved into a critical environmental issue in Australia, where the federal government has been accused of watering down a proposal to protect the country's threatened species and ecosystems. Environmental groups are concerned that the changes undermine the intent of national standards, which aim to protect wildlife from extinction and stop the destruction of forests. Lastly, we explored XAI's latest AI model, Grok-T, which boasts enhanced reasoning capabilities and improved performance in specialized domains such as law and finance. While the model has demonstrated exceptional strength in domain-specific tasks, it has also been reported to struggle with general-purpose tasks and coding abilities. We'll continue to monitor these stories and provide updates as more information becomes available. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.